Hey all, Paint Marine here with another unboxing and like kind of product review. So today I'm not actually going to take it out of the box because it's a small box, but here it is. We're going to do the Citadel Paint Handle or Hobby Handle, whatever they're calling it. Yeah, so I'm going to do a quick review over this and my thoughts. So far, initially, out of the gate, I was like, I don't know, I don't really, I don't put my stuff on corks and stuff initially, and so I know a lot of people then they'll hold like the little cork and they'll like sit there and do that. And I actually think this is better than a cork, and I'll explain why as we get more into it. But it works differently. Corks are easier for airbrushing and batch painting type of stuff. This is definitely not a batch painting tool, and we'll get into that. But let me cut down here. I'm going to show you the different base sizes that actually fit this, which is pretty interesting. As you can see here, it has kind of like these different grooves and everything in it to fit bases, and it's basically just kind of like there's some kind of like a tension spring, so I can pull on one side and it goes back, pull on the other side, pull on both sides. So that's kind of nice. There's not like a ratchet or any kind of clamp thing. My only concern though is like I don't know the lifetime of that. Like when is that going to wear out? Because eventually things wear out. Anytime soon, I don't think so. But yeah, I mean it's pretty hefty. It's definitely top heavy though. The handle is, you can tell it's hollow. So then when you put a miniature on there, it will be top heavy. However, because the base is so large, I haven't noticed when I set it down any issue with it being unbalanced. I'm not sure though, but the other thing being most of their miniatures are now plastic or resin, and because they're not going to be like a huge model, generally I don't think you'll have that risk. But if you're painting like a metal model, you may run into more of a top heavy issue, I guess. So yeah, let me get set up and I'll show you the different sizes this fits. All right. Okay, as you can see here, these are all the different base sizes that can fit it. So you have your standard, I don't even know what this is anymore, 28 millimeter. This is the old bike bases. I think the Scout bikes might still be, and there's a few other models that are still but they've kind of moved on to this more oval shape base. And then you have your 32, and I don't remember. I always just call them so this is the new Space Marine, and these are the Terminator sized ones. So to kind of show you how it works, you kind of put it in here, and you just kind of push it over, and it slides in, and there it is, clipped in there. And then you kind of have to. It's kind of an interesting way to pop them out. But yeah, so then same thing here. Kind of push it in, slide it over. Now this one, kind of slide this one over. There we go. There you go. Now that's how. The only thing with these ones, at least with this one, is because it's the way it is, it can slide around. So just be careful of that. Then this one, we'll have to use the upper grooves. The other one will be too tight to use. So do that. Alright, and there it is. And it kind of does a little bit more, but because of the oval shape, you can kind of see it kind of moves these. So this one's a little bit more secure than the other bike base. And then this one clips in pretty easily. And then finally the Terminator base, which this is about right there. That is the limits of the handle, and you can see it's kind of pushing out, and it almost looks like the base is kind of bowing up a little bit, so much so I can push it out like that. But yeah, so overall it's a pretty neat little painting tool. The difference I say with this and the cork is this does add some more weight and is a lot more substantial the size, so when I'm painting it and holding it in my hand, I'm actually able to maneuver it more around. Like I found myself a lot of times even painting like this and getting in there pretty good and being able to hold this nice large piece from here and painting. I'll show you. So the actual first model I did wasn't a Games Workshop model at all. It was a steam forged guild ball model for the Farmers Guild. This is a character named Tater. So this was the first model I painted with it, and as you can see, they have a little bit more rounded edge to their bases, but it fits just fine. And like I said, like I find myself oftentimes, painting like this and that. And this is a metal figure, but it's not too top heavy. It's not too bad actually. But yeah, so it worked quite well. And it's definitely something that you're using to do details. Batch painting, you're still gonna do, your airbrush or your spray can or whatever. But since this was just one figure I did, I used this model. Let me turn on some extra light. Maybe this will help. There we go. That's much better. So yeah, so I used this model as kind of like my practice for it, since it was just one model that I had, and like I said, it definitely worked well. But yeah, like I found myself kind of painting like this at times and kind of using it. And it's definitely, it helps add a lot more than what a cork would. A cork, you're still gonna be like holding this little tiny thing, and you might still be able to, but it's definitely longer than normal corks are probably, I don't know, probably about that long or so. I don't know, I liked it. So overall, it's a good product. Definitely for the details, you're not going to be doing a ton of batch painting at all. But I can see where, like, once you get all your batch painting and stuff done, and then you start working on the smaller details, slapping a figure in here and working on that. But yeah, overall though, I definitely think it's worth it. It's only $8 so, in America, so it's a pretty decent price point, not expensive nearly at all. So you see them; they're sold out on the online store. At least the U.S. store is sold out. I was able to actually find one tucked away at my local gaming store, so I snagged one up, and it was a good buy. I think definitely going to be using it more often with a lot of my more finer details, just so I can get a little more stability and more angles in there. That makes it a little bit easier to get the brush in there. This is definitely something I think it actually makes it easier for those that like to build and then paint. Those that don't build before they paint, I mean, it'll still be beneficial, but I don't think you'll see as big of a benefit as those people that do build and then paint, because it just allows you to have more control of the miniature as you paint to get your brush into those hard to reach places. But as they say, if your brush can't reach it, then the eye can't see it, so why paint it? But or if you're like me and have some OCD, you still know it's not painted, so you have to paint it. But anyway, all right, well, thanks for watching. Until next time.